Mars is in the pool still. You can still just pick Mars. You can still just say, oh yeah, screw it. Lane him anywhere, put him on a core roll. I think that would honestly be a decent solution right now. I would like to see it, but I would probably see it later on if they wanted to go for something like the Night Stalker, which would honestly be kind of a sick pick, just having another hero to not only kind of stop the Tidehunter's initiation, but also play on those backlines. Okay, that's different. Honestly, like it a lot. Kind of plays well versus the Tidehunter. Of course, you can't always guaranteed stun him with depending on whenever he does kind of crush off the stun from the Pango, but at the same time, honestly, not a bad pick and another kind of classic Moo hero, to be honest, just someone who is always able to flex it. But I say it's a Moo hero. For Zoomers, Huskies played it, Moos played it, Gunners played it, everybody's played it on their team. So it really could go anywhere, and I think that's the theme of For Zoomers right now is just maintaining that flexibility. I think Huskies probably the Bane, I'll be honest on that one, but that's where I think Lava, they've also picked up Wind, which is another hero that has been played in multiple roles on their team. Moose has played it, Leo Styles played it, they've really shoved it around wherever. I think we can pretty much call it's going to be the Frank Tidehunter, but both teams are not giving up anything to their opponents. They're really being tricky here.
Oh.
And Wyvern?
Okay, well, that kind of does definitively push the Wind Ranger into a core position now. Ogre and Wyvern really have to be your two supports. I don't think there's any other place to put them unless Wyvern got more changed in 7-3-1 than I anticipated, but that's an interesting choice for the Lava side. Meanwhile, on 4 Zoomers, they're going to get the Necrophos going for them. So both teams now maybe building up a little bit more in the way of lockdown for some of these fights.
Bro, and I'm trying to think, whenever you see Necro, it's always because you're trying to dissuade certain carry picks. You're trying to dissuade kind of the inherently tanky ones, the ones that are going to be farming, heroes that Kataro is very good at, but at the same time, Wyvern's a really cool pick this game. It's a very good counter versus both the Pango and the LD. Just if you're not too careful, you could just get eaten by your own bear. At the same time, that's your solution when that Pango roll does come down, just having someone to stop him in place. But still, this is very, very different. These are a lot of heroes, again, kind of resurrected. And for Zoomers, they like to do this, especially in their group stage. They like to kind of mess around and pick really whatever they want. But right now, their draft kind of tells me that this is most likely going to be the Pango going to the 4 position, and then having Moo as your offline Necro, and then slotting in most likely Costabile towards that LD, unless you find a Gunner hero that just screams at you. But unfortunately, Lava banned out the hero I wanted to see, so no Storm Spirit for him. At the same time, it is pretty obvious it is going to be the Leo style Wind Ranger, so looking for a Kataro hero in that. Now, do they ban out? I'm trying to think now, because I don't really think you want to pick Wraith King into the Necro, but that would be the kind of knee-jerk pick if you were just playing off of the patch. But the Necro definitely does force your hand a little bit, where suddenly there are a lot of carries that you just simply don't want to pick.
Yeah, the Wraith King could get punished pretty heavily with the Necrophos in that lineup. All of a sudden, you don't have nearly the same amount of reliable durability with your ult, so be taken down pretty quickly. To be honest, though, it does still give them a fair bit of damage, and they could still try to force it here, because the rest of the 4 Zoomers lineup is maybe iffy. If they have to use all their control on someone like a Wraith King, then you've got a Tide and a Wyvern who could hit you with big ults there. So they could almost use Kataro kind of as bait with that pick. If they wanted to force it through. There are still plenty of options in the pool, though, where they could shake things up.
Yeah, I'm really thinking, I don't think that the problem is you can't really pick illusion characters. You can't pick Spectre, you can't pick TV or Naga. I don't want to say they're going to pick Drow, but I'm really kind of scrambling my brain here, and they do pick Drow. Okay. It is a option. I think the Luna would have definitely felt nicer. I think that's why 4 Zoomers ban it out, and the only risk is that Lava, you better not let anyone near this Drow Ranger, because this is a very scary game. 4 Zoomers, they're the apes. They're the monkeys that are going to run at you. And if this Lone Druid ever catches up, it's going to be over real quick. At the same time, if Kataro gets to do whatever he wants, Drow is one of those heroes where suddenly it's looking really scary to ever push onto Lava High Ground, where If you aren't careful, you get cursed, you get silenced, you get follow-up ravage. They've
Yeah.
got quite a lot of team fight, quite a lot of counterplay between their spells. I think for Zoomers, they just need another hero to get on top of him, and I think that's
Running
where
out of
1 second.
time.
Yeah.
Oof.
Didn't random it. Okay.
Okay.
That's your jump. That's another disable. I think this does mean, yeah, we are going to see the LD fall into the hands of Gunner, but man, they've got to play a tight game. They've got to play a really, really tight game because you stick around for just a second too long, then suddenly your illusions are getting cleaned up. The AoE is fantastic on Lava, and they need to find the Drow. If they aren't finding the Drow Windrunner at the beginning of all of these fights, stuff's going to get messy real quick, and then those arrows are just going to rain down from above.
Yeah, and I mean, the CK certainly helps. As you said, that's sort of your gap closing option, but Lava have so much to work with in terms of maintaining that separation. They've got slows, they've got stuns, they've got the Winter's Curse, the Ravage. So many ways where even if you get close to the Drow, you may not be able to make the contact that you need to actually go for the kill. So if you're 4-zoomers, you've still got to try and make those plays. You've still got to try and get onto presumably the backline where the Drow will be, but you have to be incredibly careful about how you approach it. Because if it's, as you said, if it's not perfect, if it's not tight execution, you're really just going to get locked down and presumably kind of blown away by the damage that Lava will have.
Yeah, and really, regardless, it's fun because both teams, they've completely splintered off. They've taken two different routes when it comes to the game. I think now it's going to be a question of what Leo Style is able to accomplish with his Windrunner. It's one of those games where every successful play that Leo Style makes the rest of his team's game so much easier that it could just win them. That's the type of game we're in right now, where for Zoomers, they have to
You weren't
play
so
more of the
damn dead,
kill
I'd
lineup,
shoot you
more of the we're
again.
constantly active. If they start to fall behind, things get pretty ugly on their behalf. And
Stay down. Stay down.
interesting.
Stay down.
I guess both games have been played on US East. We'll see if that. I don't know if that's actually a problem or if they're just kind of memeing, but both games are being played on US East. I don't know if there was actually a ruling or whatever, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, unfortunately, if it was mentioned, I don't think I was paying attention to it if there was supposed to be a server split, but yeah, could just be memeing, you never know, but either way, the game will continue here. I don't think we're going to get any potential remakes for a server swap, so we'll see how this plays out. 4-zoomers getting aggressive here. That is a very deep ward, and that was interesting. Actually, Lava pinged out, really, that exact location. I don't think that they had actual vision. They're just sort of getting the spidey senses from Kim. And if that is just straight up a blind ping on a hunch, it's a pretty damn good one. But see if they get anyone over to actually de-ward it. Cat-U is the one who has the sentry, so he would have to make the move. But you see these 4-zoomers heroes, they're still sticking around in the area. If Cat-U just makes a straight break to go for that D-ward, they'll know and they can try to punish him. But now, they're just going to try and go for the bounty rune. Kataro is actually going to come over, looking to help out with that multi-shot, but that's not going to be enough. Cat-U's just dead.
Yep, nice. And the kill goes to Costa Bile, which is even nicer. And they're trying to bully Kataro. They're trying to force him to TP instead of just being able to walk in with the creep wave. And I think Kataro might just go for it. Like he's walking all the way back just in case. And they're lane swapping. They're feeling the tri lane. Oh, this is gonna be a dance. This is gonna be a song and dance. Costa Bile blocked the creep wave as well, so that way his creep wave will die underneath the tower. Okay, the game is afoot.
So tri-lane set up here for the 4-zoomers side that gets dodged by Kataro. They'll bring the Tidehunter over slowly but surely. Frank is not exactly fast at the moment, but now if you're 4-zoomers, what do you do? Do they move Costabile up? Do they just bail out of the tri-lane and send one of the supports top to help the Necro? How do they want to respond here? Because this tri-lane, I mean, realistically speaking, they could stick around and keep trying, but Frank is not going to be easy to bring down. They're going to go in after the stun anyway, though. So let's see if they have the damage. I said Frank wasn't going to be easy to bring down. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but there's where that durability is going to kind of matter a little bit. Nearly 900 HP at level 1, so... Oh. Okay, they're going to actually try again. This time it might work out. Does Z-Freak have his shield crash? Yes, he does, but between that and the brain sap, it's still not enough damage. But if you're Frank, you're not going to have much fun in this lane right now.
No, and the only reason he survives, I think, the first round of spells there is just because he hits the 3-man anchor smash, but unfortunately, no salves, nothing in the works. I think there is one coming in from the courier, but that's why Z-Freak placed that deep ward. If he cuts off the support coming in, then, well, there's going to be a not a lot of farming, and, well, there goes the courier. So the moves will have a little bit of a better idea where that ward is, but still, it's a little bit unfortunate. He's just going to need to get tangled up from his teammate pretty much solely here. But at the same time, you are securing Katara's lane almost retroactively in the top. Just means that now he is the ranged lineup. But
I think they got it this time. Yep. Third time's the charm for the tri-lane as they do bring Frank down. But yeah, as you said, on the other side of the map, you've got a Drow who's laning against Moo. Really, just alone on the Necrophos. There's not a whole lot of pressure that can be applied by a lone Necro. So Frank may not have fun, but really Frank is here at this point to get levels and try to keep the death count down. So if you have to sack his lane to get the Drow Ranger off to a strong start, I think that is going to be something Lava are more than happy with. Is actually, they don't just want farm for Kataro, they just want to kill. They're going on to Moo. They've got the slow from the arrows. The stun comes in from Katyu. Kataro, yeah, Kataro is the one to get the kill there. So, okay, farm and a kill. Go into your Drow Ranger in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of having Katyu up here, is just having someone to mess with the pools, affect the creep equilibrium, and Z-Freak will also make his way up top. Unfortunately, he's just level 2. I think he would have liked to get another level bottom, maybe another kill attempt, but they also feel like with level 2 on Frank, that maybe the damage block is just a little bit too much. So it's a nice little swap up here, because I think Moo definitely needs someone. Otherwise, he's going to get completely sacked, but I also see Moo TPing towards bottom, so they might be going for the complete lane swap here.
Yeah, he is actually making his way down there, so... Yeah, he does, okay. Gustavo does have his TP available, so they could just pull off that swap right now. Might be part of the reason why you see your Chaos Knight kind of angling towards the trees a little bit here. Just try and make this play slightly less obvious, but... Either way, Moo is in. He has arrived. Maybe, honestly, maybe they go for a kill. Yeah, kill first, as Frank is going to be pulled in by the Reality Rift. Moo wasn't actually in position, though, but the Nightmare is going to help out with that, but this is still tough. Frank is going to fall back. There's that Anchor Smash again, reducing that damage, and, well, now you've sort of played your hand, right? They go in, they make that switch. Gustavo has to TP top now, and you got the lane set up in a maybe better position, but would have been nice for them to get that kill. And actually, they're going to pull the whole tri-lane up top. They're bringing the Bane in as well.
Yeah, the only problem here is as soon as Kataro gets wind that there are this many heroes up here, then not only can he leave, but he can just start to ignore them. And Katyu, I think he's just going to be completely fine. Yeah, they just don't have enough damage. And unfortunately, now that they see that both supports are up here, they could just immediately dump everything onto Moo. And Moo's actually trying to get a soul kill on Frank, which is kind of funny. But as soon as they want to pull Kataro out or they think that he's under threat, the lane's over. And Kostabila is actually the one getting run out.
He is taking a lot of damage here. Good play from Z-Freak, though, coming in with the shield crash. That's going to break that up, but this is really not what you wanted. Your tri-lane is supposed to be sort of establishing dominance, and for the most part, they're kind of now forced to play defensively. Every single one of those heroes has lost about half their HP, and they're going to try and go on to Katyu, but the second Kataro comes over, he doesn't have mana for the multi-shot, though, so this could get a little bit awkward. Katyu is going to go down. Nice Nightmare coming in, though, so Z-Freak's going to be able to walk away. And now, does Kataro even live? Gustavo, ooh, if you had the Soul Ring up, then maybe they could have gone for the stun. Without it, though, they don't have the lockdown, and the Drow is able to walk away, but they still got the kill on the Katyu to start things off.
Yeah, and really, even though it looked pretty ugly when they first arrived in the lane, just simply Husky being there, getting the small camp off is the reason why any of that happens. And I think they honestly might need support. The problem is, I think that with how low everyone got, and yeah, Kataro is going to finally leave, that's the other option. Just dodging it out. I think Frank, yeah, he had to walk all the way back to base or even TP back to base, so now he's smoked running out towards top. Again, it's a song and a dance. It's everybody just kind of dodging and getting the biggest advantage. And it's funny, we haven't seen anything from Leo Strauch just yet. Maybe with Power Runes, we're going to see that big rotation, but with him using the Focus Fire on the Baron mid just to get some harass going, we might not even see the Wind Ranger for another few minutes.
Yeah, and Leo, with no point up in the Shackle, kind of a similar situation we see to a lot of those Ember Spirits, right? Without the Bolas, you aren't always looking for that aggressive play because you don't have the lockdown. His teammates obviously can help him with that, but that sort of limits the places he can go. He's going to need a teammate to provide, well, a stun as Husky. This is a bit of an awkward spot. He did get the Nightmare onto Katyu, though, so there's no stun forthcoming. And now with Gunnar coming in, they thought about it for a moment, decide against it. Probably not worthwhile to actually go all in for that kill, especially with Gunnar not having the true form. So if somebody slips past the bear and actually gets directly onto the druid, he still doesn't have a lot of health.
On Leo's he's trying to time it out, so that way he has focus fire on Kostabile in the top lane. You can't imagine 4 Zoomers are going to TP absolutely everyone if they feel this play coming. And the card's still alive. I mean, the push is still working for Lava. Kostabile's run so deep into the tree line, but Frank found him anyway.
Yep. Get eyes on him. There's not a lot of mana. The soul ring for the CK would have to be popped to really do anything. And actually, he did have stick charges, so he is going to be able to get off a stun, but I don't know if he actually gets out. Leostal, though,
not boots.
yeah, he's not going to be able to catch up unless he uses the wind run. He will do so, so they continue to chase. Kostabile dropping low, should be going down here. He snipes out a courier before he dies, I suppose, but they will still lose him. The good news, though, is that over in the bottom lane, they found 2 kills, and they're about to get a third, taking down both of the supports and Kataro's Drow Ranger, so no help coming for Kostabile as you predicted, but only because they decide to be aggressive over on the other side of the map.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you want for your Necro. A Necro that definitely has been slowed down, almost has full boots of travel. Mu is completely 180 this entire laning setup, and now it feels like he really is the huge winner of this laning stage. For such a bad start, they really turned everything around. And just off of the poke, and I think maybe not bringing enough supplies towards Kataro, I think he's the one that actually got hit by the Reaper scythe with how long his timer was. But at the same time, you have boots of travel on Mu now. Mu can do whatever he wants in this game, and he's just going to be absolutely everywhere. It's exactly what you want from your offlaner. But now, it's really how tanky can he get post boots of travel, because the push is still going to mainly come from your lone druid. It's going to be about Gunnar heading towards bottom and finally getting that map control in their favor. At the same time, I think Lava needs to maybe organize a gank on the Necro. Just get him off the board, try to get him a kill with the wind, but that's where, I don't know, maybe the Ghost Shard is just a little bit too much. It's a little too hard for Leostal to commit ever towards those fights, but that's a big problem. Somebody's got to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, they need an answer. They can't just ignore a Necro over the duration of a fight, so gotta try and do something, especially considering, take a look at the net worth chart here player-wise. Other than Leostal, it's all 4 Zoomers, so you're not even really winning just the straight-up farm race. They need to make some sort of move here as Frank, he runs right into Mu and Z-Freak, not really looking for that engagement, but if they're looking for a fight, they have the Ravage, right? They've got the Ravage. Leostal does have a decent amount of damage to work with, more so when he finishes the Maelstrom, so timing-wise, there is going to be a potential opening for them. It's just a matter of where they want to go and whether they're actually willing to commit for it right now, considering they're already playing from behind.
Yeah, and that's also where, even though I do like the wind versus the lone druid in lane, a lot of this damage is just painfully slow on the Lava side, especially coming from Kataro in this game, and he's got to be careful. He is almost getting run down here by the sides of 4 Zoomers, so he's just going to be forced to hide. He doesn't have a TP. He's just going to be stuck up there for quite a while. Meanwhile, there are just not many plays being made on the other side of the map, and I think that's where maybe Lava have taken a misstep with their draft, and it just feels like there's no one to really play with their heroes right now. They have Ravage, they have Javelin, they kind of have a decent power spike, but there's no real way to quantify what they have, and there's no play either presenting itself from the 4 Zoomer side. Everyone is playing incredibly cautious.
Yeah.
Even though bottom, well,
that is
poor guy.
brutal. Husky starts it with a Nightmare. They wait for Mu to TP to the creep. Then they go in 3v1 against Katyu, who just has no defensive powers there whatsoever. They'll blow him up, and they'll take a tier 1 tower here as well. Glyph will be refreshed by the death of the tower, but it's not here to delay it. And 4 Zoomers really flipping the script here from game 1. They were the squad falling behind so early on in that initial defeat, but take a look. They're 3k up right now, 10 minutes in, and the heroes on the side of Lava that you are looking towards to be difference makers seem very hesitant to actually make any commitments right now.
No, they need to farm. They need to kind of bide their time. It's why they went for this Drow Ranger, is just the power later down on the road. At the same time, gotta be so careful top. This is a fine line they need to toe here. If Leo style gets in too quickly, then everything could go really badly for four Zoomers. At the same time, if Guitarro thinks that something's up, he could just get immediately bursted. He's trying to sap level 6 right now, and he will get it on Husky. They still don't see him yet, so there is that Nightmare plus the Fiend script, but I think Lava have brought one too many members for four Zoomers to take this fight. They need to tread very lightly.
You have Z-Freak sort of drifting here a little bit in the woods, but his presence not going to be needed. Not really willing to commit any sort of fight right now. That just tends to be the general theme for Lava. As you mentioned, they did sort of draft in a position where they anticipated this being a problem for themselves, but because you anticipate a problem doesn't mean it isn't still a problem. But see what they can do here. They brought four heroes top. They got to get something, whether it's the kill or the tower. They can't afford to come away empty-handed as Katyu's going to make his move, pushing it onto Husky. They get the Shackle Shot down. Leo Style's going to go in for the quick and easy kill. Maybe not so quick or easy for that matter, as Husky's Nightmare is going to keep him alive, but the Power Shot still comes through for the snipe. And now Katyu, well, he's not in a great spot. Kim's actually caught here as well. Z-Freak's just going to start rolling between them. That's awkward. Katyu gets pushed down by Z-Freak, and, well, you went all in to try and finish the Ogre. That means Kim was able to fly away, and then you push the Ogre onto the low ground and can't really chase after him either. So they get neither of those two kills in a situation where it really kind of seemed like they should have gotten both.
Yeah, and, you know, who knows? Maybe Moo didn't want to commit his ulti that time of rounds. It definitely felt like he maybe would have had enough time, but you are kind of looking for more of those core kills at this point of the game. At the same time, though, during all that, even like 2 minutes before, Gunner took their mid tower whenever they were all postured up top to just kind of trade evenly, and it feels pretty bad. And Gunner, he hasn't made any rotation. He has just been farming the triangle mid lane, triangle mid lane. He's really been taking away a lot of this farm, but in doing so, he is incredibly farmed. And most interestingly, having the Agnum Shard at 15 minutes instead, you're going to have that Savage Roar attack speed, the ally movement speed, and that could be the game plan going forward, where suddenly four Zoomers can actually close that gap. And I think Katyu might be dead to rights here. Looked for the curse, but wasn't able to find it, unfortunately, with the Wyvern.
So, getting himself a little bit of a freebie, and as you were alluding to before, maybe you don't feel 100% great about having to put your Scythe on cooldown for a support kill, but it's going to keep Moo going, and you look at the rate of acceleration here for him. He's 5-1, he's top of the net worth on this offlane Necro, and not 100% sure what he wants to build this plate mail into. Could just honestly pick up something like a Shiva's, but Quick Buy does not give us any hints at the moment. But he's got enough farm where he's sitting on Boots of Travel in a casual plate mail pre-15 minutes, so it's about as farmed as he possibly could be on the Necro, and now his teammates, they might be looking for something, but that's still Frank, that's still the Tide Hunter, not going to be an easy kill for them, and with reinforcements coming in, they really don't want to get caught here, but Z-Freak may not have a choice. He wanted the Swashbuckle, but Guitarro hits him with the Silence, and they find the kill.
Yeah, and that is the Silence. Gust is such an incredible spell this game. Everybody needs to itemize to actually deal with it, otherwise that could very well happen to a hero like the Necro, where you just get caught out, you die in that timing, and then there's not really much you can do about it. At the same time, I don't know if they can kill Moo.
It's not going to be
easy.
easy.
Rough.
TP coming in, Costable wants to fight. There's going to be the Ravage deployed. He might have wanted to hold it for a bit, though, because now the CK's in, stun free, and how is this going to go? More reinforcements are TPing in. Gunner's going to send the bear forward. Katyu's sort of caught out, but there's that Winter's Curse coming into play. The rest of the lineup should be able to get away. The Ogre's just going to wait for death. Blair Witching in the corner, but will still be taken down. Costable gets the kill, but if you're four Zoomers, you kind of brought everybody in there, and you only get the Ogre, so Lava, I guess, dodge a bullet, I would say, but you use Ravage, you use Winter's Curse, and it was all sort of in a defensive manner.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, they don't really care. It didn't really disturb their farming patterns too much, and that really is what it feels like four Zoomers care about right now. I mean, Gunner is all the way in the enemy triangle here, and oh, he's got to be so careful. He can't eat a shackle. He will die, especially not having his ultimate right now. But, oh, close to delay.
He's the one to get hit by the shackle. Z-Freak coming in to try and help out. The Bear's making its way forward as well, but there's still... Nope, didn't get the kill. The Nightmare from Husky. Okay. Katyu comes in to finish it off, but that means Leo Style had to stick around in the fight as well. Move buys the time for the Scythe, and now the fight is over. Now is the free kill onto Ogre part of the program, as Four Zoomers will take that kill, 2 for 1, with the chance to grab another tier 1 tower here. Really start taking control of the map this early on.
Yeah, and now we've got the Agstart finished up on the LD. Z-Freak is hunting behind the tower, and it's going to be another free tower where, unfortunately, they can't even afford to defend. They had already blown so many ultimates, but looks like Gunner's just going to farm up their Ancient here as well, and there isn't anything they can really do except for dodge the fight for the current time being. And that's also where Gunner is actually looking for the Radiance, which is honestly really interesting. It got a very intriguing change in 731, now building from the Talisman of Evasion instead of a recipe, which honestly makes the item kind of insane because now you get the 15% evasion on top of the burn. So just a really interesting way to rework the item. Of course, the blind did get reduced from 17 to 10, but you just have flat out more evasion. It's only for the betterment of the weapon.
And now, that was always the interesting thing about the Radiance, because you kind of just had to save for the relic first, because what good does having a random recipe in your backpack do for you? Now, if you really are hard pressed, you can get that talisman first, and it's a talisman, it's evasion. It's still making progress. It's not an empty item taking up a slot like the recipe was previously. So I think it just kind of opens up more utility for players, not just in terms of what it gives you when you complete the item, but how you actually go about building it in the first place. And if Gunner can get that on the bear, I don't know. Lava's lineup really is not ready just yet to just break through and kill that bear very quickly.
No, definitely not. It's where, again, it feels like Lava's lineup is just painfully slow. It feels like they're going to need to wait quite a while. And not to mention, Gunner's going to hit a huge power spike here in just a few minutes. As soon as he gets that level 15, then he has a 10-second CD on the Savage Roar, which is going to make him farm so incredibly fast. It's going to be really fun to kind of watch him play. It's hard to really gauge right now which team is playing more towards their timing, because Lava, they're trying to make a smoke play here. If they have Blink Dagger on the Tidehunter, Four Zoomers don't know about it just yet, but well, that's where Z-Freak's just spoiling the party, and now their play is kind of dead. So we're back to waiting, and which team is more alright with waiting is really hard to tell, because Lava, they really need to wait for Four Zoomers to start a push, and Four Zoomers don't really need to care about their opponent's push just yet. So it's like there's no good way for either team to start a fight on their own terms.
Yeah, you've got an issue here that we were sort of talking about with the draft, just how sort of divergent their strategies were. So much so that now you don't have that natural thing of one team pushing into the other. So might have an extended hiatus here between fights as Husky, he throws the Nightmare down, but this is not really much of anything. Z-Freak's going to try for the Swashbuckle, but it's really not a situation you want to fully commit. I think they were trying to maybe bait Lava into bringing reinforcements over, but that's not going to happen either. But if you're Four Zoomers, if no one's going to come to fight, then you do this. You just keep taking objectives. The tier 2 bot should be going down here. The glyph already used on the Lava side.
No, and well, Four Zoomers, they're the ones to break the silence, right? They're the ones who can actually push where their opponents can't, but that is, I think, Radiance almost done. This is an interesting Roche attempt, but Move
scouting
it all.
Leo style, he is so low on the Wind Ranger, cannot afford to really get caught out here. That means Frank has to serve as the frontliner, kind of his job, but he doesn't get the Ravage off in time. They lock him down. Z-Freak rolls in, Moo gets the Reaper Scythe, and this is where things get very awkward. Frank dead, Cat, you gone as well. Moo picks up both, and now Four Zoomers say, thanks for warming up Roshan for us. We'll take it from here.
Yeah, disastrous loss for them. And it's where if maybe they make that decision just 20 seconds sooner, where they trade their bottom tower a little bit more efficiently, this doesn't happen. But it's also incredibly lucky that that gust landed, I want to say, 1 or 2 milliseconds after the Lotus Orb was already cast on a Necro. Otherwise, you just lose Leo style to the site there. That's the target you get. But also just, it's funny seeing Moo just kind of traps onto the 4 heroes just hitting Roche, and then there really wasn't a response from anyone for a few seconds there, and then suddenly it's just the immediate call to get out, because they have to. They can't stick around. It's just getting a little bit disconcerting, especially because with the Radiance now finished, Gunner is starting to become the real damage dealer, and I think you see that reflected in Costabile's build as well, where he's just immediately gone for the Heaven's Halberd second item, because he knows that's how he loses. He doesn't need to necessarily be all the damage. He just needs to survive, and then his teammates can kind of carry the rest of the job.
Yeah, anytime your carry can focus on really just utility instead of flat damage. Gunner.
He's doing it. Oh,
They need more damage. They don't have it. He's able to get off that transformation. If there was any other hero there, or even if Leo Style was closer to actually go for the power shot, then they get that kill. It's a big play. It's unfortunate for the side of Lava that they didn't have enough damage to finish the job. And now, well, I mean, even if Gunner died, he still had the Aegis, but that would have been a big way to just take that out of his hands for nothing. But now you've got to be careful. These 4 Zoomers, they know the Winter's Curse is down. They may feel a little bit more aggressive pushing forward. As the Ravage is deployed, it does hit onto the Bear and 2 heroes, but Sable comes in. They're going to pull Kim away from the fight. That means there's not as much damage on the move as they need, but Leo Style just doesn't care. It goes all the way in, will find the kill, but they're losing too much. Guitarro isolated over to the southeast. They'll finish off the Drow Ranger, and Lava are just going to get completely manhandled here. They actually don't even get the power shot there. Husky gets the Nightmare down at the right time to avoid the damage.
yeah. Everything is just coming up for Zoomers. I can't believe that Gunner just is able to walk on top of the Drow, but I think that's where, unfortunately, they have to look for the kill onto the Necro just a little bit too far out in the tree line, and even though they get it, they kind of ruin what kind of defensive posture they had on the tier 2, so now you just kind of get to watch your tier 3 get hit up. Gunner just preemptively resummons. He does need to run now. This could be bad. Yeah, it's time to go. Don't want to lose your bear twice. But at the same time, Lava just need to really kind of sit back for a while here. They can't really afford another engagement to break out like that, especially the way it started with just Kostabile immediately finding the Wyvern. Everything got ugly after that. I think Moose needs to be a little bit more careful here, but even then, you use Ravage. We're not going to see a play from Lava for at least another minute here, and I don't know if they really want to venture out to defend this tower, because 4 Zoomers, they could dive as soon as the roll is back up, and it's up right now.
Oh, wait, no, I couldn't.
They've got the blink into the Rolling Thunder, and if you're Lava, it's turning into a bit of a problem with their lineup. The Drow and the Wind Ranger, the damage is starting to show up bit by bit, but they're both still very much single target heroes, right? They were able to get Moo there, but that's only because they threw everything that they had from Leo Style basically suicided for it as they see Z-Freak, but this is going to get risky, and yeah, there's the Fiend's Grip. That's a problem. Leo Style not going to dish out any damage. Kim comes in, throwing down that Winter's Curse, but at this point, the reinforcements have arrived. This is going to get ugly. Leo Style hit up by the Scythe, not enough to kill. That Cold Embrace is buying time, but it won't be enough. Leo Style and Cat, you were both dead, and best case scenario there is that they get a kill onto Z-Freak. I don't really know if that was worth going in for, and now they could be punished for it. Towers are going to be taken in response.
Yeah, and I mean, it felt like almost a half measure, and of course, bring it back to whether or not Leostar was able to make his team's life any easier, because, oh, Moose. Let's see if he pays for that Splinter Blast, but if anything, they've just completely zoned them off. But look at it, it's 3 heroes zoning, 1 hero doing the building hitting, because that's all they need in this draft. It's why they crafted it, and at the same time, when they make that attempt in the top tier 2 area, Guitarro and Frank have no intentions of showing up to that fight. Just feels a little bit split from Lava. They're not going to call it. They still have something to play for in this game, but at the same time, nothing's looking pretty. If they get the bear kill, that'd be nice, but it's still a reach, and I don't think they're even going to get it.
Gunner's able to get that bear away. Full top lane of Rax taken, and at this point, yeah, Lava feeling the pressure, desperation time setting in. They've got to make a play now, otherwise they're just going to get sort of bled to death. So, full 5-man smoke. We'll see what they can do. Is the Winter's Curse up? Yes, it is, as I was saying it. So, they've got their full firepower, but they need really to hit the exact right target, and now the timing may align. Gunner just lost his Aegis, so they might be able to get onto him, but in that true form, I mean, he's got so much health. He's over 3k, so it's not gonna be easy, but now the true form wears away. Still gotta actually reach him, though, and that is a pretty sizable problem.
No, they just, unfortunately, don't have enough grasp. They might need to settle for this tier 1 mid if they even get it, but you gotta feel a little bit scared. As in typical Lava fashion, though, if they get the cliffside, they always take it before they ever take an engagement, so their chances for maybe catching the 4 Zoomers hero off guard are definitely heightened, as well as Guitarro picking up that Ag Shard, so now we've got the Hypothermia online, something that especially Costabile, needs to be concerned about, but he's got a BKB. He's going to be able to tank so many spells, and that's the name of the game. If Costabile eats enough, then the Bear's not eating anything, then they kind of just outnumber their opponents here. I honestly think Kitaro needs maybe a full Scotty on top of what he has currently and a defensive item, just so that way they can take a convincing fight, because they're just severely lacking firepower. Not to mention, creeps in the base. They're time to go back. They can't stay outside of their base any longer. Not to mention, they can't even take this outpost with how behind they are on objectives.
Yeah, they really don't have too many options at the moment. Kitaro has to go back. At least he's able to clean this up relatively nicely. So it is going to be some sort of free farm for him. But you see on the other side of things, Zoomers, they want to take advantage of this. I think they know, well, not think they know, they absolutely know that the Drow Ranger went back because they saw Kitaro clean out the creep wave. So now they're looking for their moment. Unfortunately for them, they're on the wrong side of the map. Pretty much everyone on Lava is actually hanging out in that north side jungle, so they would have to cross over as... Ooh, Gunner just lost his courier. That's an AC that's not going to be completed for another minute or two. But now, yeah, now you know where your opponents are. Four Zoomers are going to push their way forward. Katyu TPing away. Does Moo didn't want to commit the Scythe. Kosabale did get the Reality Rift, but didn't have the Bolt, so... Okay. Lava get everybody out of there, although I may have spoken too soon. Can Frank get away? Yes, he can, because Moo's still... just, he doesn't want a Scythe. He really wants to hold on to it.
Yeah, and I mean, we are at that stage of the game where it's still probably worth it, but I don't think he have the cast time there. Probably just a little bit too tight on the timing. Kind of surprised as well that Moo hasn't gone for maybe a slightly more defensive item. The Kai-san is like a pseudo-defensive item, but he's definitely killable at this stage of the game still. But that's where, looking at Kitaro again, he's still looking for that Scotty. He did switch up his build, not looking for the Lincolns anymore, feeling that maybe this game could end very soon here. That's also where I think for Zoomers, after clearing them out of their jungle and Lava, you know, realizing they had to come back, they're just right back in the enemy team's triangle. They're farming their own triangle. The only person outside of the base right now on Lava is Moose, who's just cutting the bottom wave, and Z-Freak's going to attempt to catch him here, and honestly, he might even do it. I think Moose might have stayed around a little bit too long, and yep, cleaned up. Nothing you can do about that, except be happy that Reaper Scythe was used on you, but oh no!
Oh, that's a problem. That he's too far forward. There's the Reality Rift. Excuse me, not the Reality Rift. The Bean's Grip coming out from the Bane, just locking it down, allowing Kosabale to just hack away. And listen, losing Kim, losing Moo is up in that scenario, that far on the opponent's side of the map. That's fine. Okay, that's Scythe down, and you only lost the support. But Leosal can't be that far out, especially considering they didn't have any vision there. That was just kind of a blind push, and now four Zoomers are going to look to take advantage of it. They want a second lane of racks as they push in mid.
No, this is really unfortunate, and they're being so patient right now. They're not really making themselves weak. They're not looking for it, and they do kill the bear in time. They do a lot of damage once you get all of the stacks of hypothermia on it, but that's also damage that is going to be felt if they take a successful fight, or even just want to spend another push on that mid tower or on that mid racks. It is just going to flat out die. Without the resummon, we could see them maybe peel back just a little bit, but we're also just kind of waiting for four Zoomers to take their next Roshan. That's where they're going to try the same play, but they need the hill. They need to get vision planted down. They're breaking as soon as they get near this ramp, and unless Frank does it blind, they cannot do this. And with the bear coming in, honestly, they could just kill the bear. I think that might be the choice. Oh, this is a good... Okay.
That bear is in some serious trouble, but now Frank makes his move. There's going to be the Ravage connecting onto 3, hits the bear as well, but didn't hit Kosabale, so he's going to go in looking to just have as much damage as possible, and Lava, they're starting to break up a little bit. Leo Style with the BKB wearing off doesn't actually want to be in the middle of that fight anymore, and can they bait? Okay, they try for it. No. There's going to be your Winter's Curse, but there's just not enough damage here. They just don't kill Moo, and now those players have given away their position. They want to track down Leo Style, would rather just sort of go after him instead of Kim, but
cool look at Kitaro.
Maybe we get the kill, but now Kataro's been hit. The Fiend's Grip locks him down, and well, that's the problem for the Drow right now. You really don't have anything. And there's the GG. Lava, getting a taste of their own medicine. They had been the squad just sort of kind of beating the crap out of their opponents to this point in the event, but four Zoomers able to turn the tables on them. They get the 1-1 split, and We said they needed momentum going into their second series of the day after this, and that is definitely momentum building.
Yeah, and of course, and in the last fight there, just to summarize, you had the Death Seeker on the bear. The bear was able to walk away. It gets a little bit too close to the high ground. I think the only thing that maybe could have changed that is if you gave a ward over to Frank. Whenever he pops the Ravage, he puts an obs on top of the hill, and then maybe you can see something. But as soon as Z Freak channels that Rolling Thunder on the low ground, Katara has to run away from the fight. He can't risk getting clipped by that spell at all. He can't even right-click Z-Freak, mostly because he's going to give away his position, and then he's going to get jumped by the CK. It just felt like everything was working against them. And I think you're looking at kind of the KDAs, when you have 6 kills in a game like this, if anything worked, if Leostal got a few more runes, if he got a few more opportunities to maybe kill or shut down Mu, the laning stage went so successful for 4Zoomers that it just completely shut down Lava's ideas pretty much entirely. Not to mention, you don't have kind of that star-studded lineup. You don't have the sick plays. You end up in such a reactive lineup that you have to wait for your opponents to make a mistake. And unfortunately for them, 4Zoomers very seldomly made one. And I think really Mu, with that tri-lane setup, whenever he got a triple kill bottom, everything just looked up for him. Because that is the man who had like 10 last hits 4 minutes into the game versus a Drow Ranger who was wiping the floor with him. And then Zoomers just make a really smart switch, and then they kind of end out on top. Really just honestly smart, solid plays from them. Really deserve victory.
Yeah, that one decision. They sacrifice Costabile up in the top lane so that Mu can pick up all 3 of those kills bot, and the CK can recover easily from that death, whereas the Necrophos needed the kills to get himself going. So obviously that was not the only decision they made that sort of won them the game, but that started swinging momentum their way, and once you hand over control to 4Zoomers, it is kind of hard to get it back. So 4Zoomers get the win. They get the 1-1 draw in this series. As we said before, they are going to be in action again. We're throwing them right back into the fire against another South American squad, as they are going to be facing off against Infamous. So 4Zoomers have 1 win on the day, hoping for, well, a couple more. But much like Lava was, Infamous are going to present 4Zoomers with a bit of a challenge, or at least presumably so. So we are going to give 4Zoomers maybe a little bit of a break here before we throw them into another 2-game series, but that will be the final best of 2 for the day. 4Zoomers versus Infamous will be coming your way in about 10 to 15 minutes. So stick around. We'll be back.